Welcome back to Mastering Real Estate, Secrets of Top Agents. So today we're going to be sitting with Christian Buckley, and you're going to love this interview. He's such an interesting man who's been a former designer in his past career, working with super high-end antiques and sales, and transitioned to real estate. But before I get into his bio, I just want to say, if you're enjoying these videos, would you mind to please make some comments. Let me know what it is you want to know so that I can improve these shows and give you more information about what you need to learn. Also, if you are inclined, hit the subscribe and the like. We appreciate it. Welcome back to the show, and thank you so much, Christian, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to be sitting with Christian Buckley, who is a top 1% agent in San Francisco. And I'm going to read you a little bit about Christian because he's got a fascinating history. So Christian has been working with buyers and sellers since 2013 in real estate with a background in interior design and fine art, which I just love. He helps clients see the potential of every property and consistently, which I really found interesting, delivers standout results. He's known for his can-do approach, personal service, and strong ethics. Ranked, as I mentioned, in the top 1.5% of agents nationwide, no small feat. His sellers average about 8% above list price. We're going to talk about that. I think everybody wants to know how to do that. He also is passionate about community support, actively involved in HomeForAHome, which I know you build homes in Nicaragua there, and SPCA, nice. And you've been active on the AIDS LifeCycle ride. So that's wonderful. From first-time buyers to profile clients, here it comes with Oprah Winfrey. Christian brings vision, heart, and hustle to everything he does. I love that. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming in today and sitting with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love watching your reels, and I very much appreciate the chance to spend time with you.
Well, thank you. Well, same here. So, as I mentioned to you earlier before the interview, we don't know each other very well, but I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I'm very impressed with your history because you went from antiques dealer, fine arts to real estate. So maybe you want to share just a little bit of that with us, because I always think it's fun to set the stage.
Sure. I think when I moved to San Francisco in 1994, my objective was to come to a place where I was inspired. And I came from a background of interior design and sales and ended up working in interior design for two different firms, one in Napa and Sonoma, where we worked with mostly vineyard owners and their own personal homes and decorated their homes, and even some of the wineries themselves. But then ended up in the city where I actually did the same thing for a couple of years. After that, I branched into antiques as a sales aspect with the company here. And we were museum quality antiques, starting from antiquities from the Roman and Greek era all the way until about 1840. And so that opportunity was amazing. And that's where I really was able to learn so much about the process and engage with so many incredible clients from all over the world who came to us for destination pieces. We had a showroom in Jackson Square, which was actually known to be a specific designated spot for people to come from all over the world to shop, as there were a collection of beautiful stores. And we also had a showroom, a much larger showroom, south of Market. That's a place where I encountered CEOs and business magnates from all over the world. And that's an opportunity also where I met a lot of celebrity clients as well as Oprah.
Yeah. Really interesting. What a great field to be in, and in that arena with those wonderful museum quality antiques. I mean, no, we don't get to work in that arena. So that's really fun.
It was fun and an opportunity, and I did it for a long time, and we had great success. And there was a certain point in my life and career where I just felt burnout, as we all can. And looking for something more, I sort of become a slave to my profession and didn't have a lot of personal time to do the things I wanted to. And as I got older, I realized that accomplishment wasn't as fulfilling as the need for more personal space and time. And so I tried to figure out what my next move would be. And I've always had a passion for architecture and design. And have always liked looking at houses and the engagement with clients as well.
You're filling houses with beautiful antiques.
Right, exactly. All over the world, seeing amazing places. I think the thing that stood out to me most was that I didn't want to give up the aspect of the client interaction, because what I did in selling those antiques was so similar to what I do now. It involves the interpersonal relationship, the trust that you have to have with somebody to purchase a 7-figure item from someone they barely know and believe that it is what it is. And so that is not too dissimilar in the trust that you have to establish in real estate. And so it was kind of a natural progression that I should step into real estate next, and that's what I did.
That's so great. And so you started your career in San Francisco, your real estate career.
Correct.
And you just jumped in, and how was it the first year? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, it's probably the hardest job I've ever had. I probably have, I can say not probably, I definitely have not worked harder and had to pivot as much, but love it more than any other career I've had.
Oh,
because it remains fresh. I've been doing this since 2013, and I learn something every day. I learn about maybe a hiccup in a procedure that comes up that I need to address. Maybe it's a way to finesse a certain negotiation, interactions with clients, learning how to sort of dissect that personal interaction. These are people you typically don't always know, whether they're a referral or someone you meet at an open house. You have to figure out that bond, how you communicate, what they do or what they're looking for, pardon me, and how they want to interact with you. What is your role with them? So I always feel like it's a different situation every client. And that really keeps it fresh for me. And it really feels like I'm constantly growing, which is kind of important to me.
It is. You can continue to grow, and you probably still will. So that's fun. So it's interesting to me that you were vice president of a global international company and working, with everyone from CEOs, celebrities to, all sorts of people from all walks of the world, and still found, real estate to be really challenging in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Because, most people think that we really just go and sell a house and there's nothing to it. But I appreciate that, that beginning is just so. Do you attribute it to a feeling of insecurity or just lack of knowledge, or what do you attribute that learning curve to?
I think for myself getting into the field, I've always been an achiever, competing with myself, wanting to always do better, be more accomplished. And I thought coming into the field that perhaps this book of clientele that I had might translate into an easier transition of sales. Right. But what I didn't take into consideration is those individuals already have people who they've been working with for decades who are taking care of those procedures or transactions. And it didn't really translate that way. So I built my business from the ground up doing open houses.
Wow.
And what transpired from that really was kind of watching and learning from others in the business and trying to figure out what worked for me. It took a little bit of time, probably the first year or two, to feel like I really had a handle on it and to feel as though I was having genuine success. There was a lot of differences in what I had done before because I'd worked in a setting that was somewhat retail versus going out and doing things and searching for things in a different way for clients that wasn't the same exact step or process.
Right. It's more entrepreneurial.
It is a more entrepreneurial.
Very much so. And, there's no one, supporting you in the back. I mean, you have a company, but really it's up to you to go out and make rain. I've
mentored a number of new agents here at Vanguard, and I always tell them this is going to be the hardest job you probably will ever have.
That's true.
And it's one of the most all-encompassing jobs that you will have, but it can also be one of the most rewarding jobs that you have. And I think that for myself, there was tons of frustration, but there was never a decision to not do it. It was just figuring out what worked and what didn't work. And the things that don't work fall off, and you hone and polish your skill set and, your business model as you move forward.
And you do. I always say the first 3 years are really make or break.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have statistics in real estate that 80% of the people that come into this industry will be gone in 3 years. So you want to get in that top 20%. And congratulations, you did more than that. You're at the top 1%, which is even harder. So congratulations.
But you know, I think that there's also a flip side to that, which is at a certain point, if you do your job well and you do it to the satisfaction of your clients, the business is self-perpetuating. That you get referral business. The majority of my business now is referral business. I welcome new clients, and when I started out, I'm not any different than I am now. I'll sell the one-room studio condo. I will sell you the multi-million-dollar property. And first-time home buyers or return clients or investors or second homes,
That's right.
there's no discriminating between those for me. Those are all clients.
That's right.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy the diversity of it.
Everyone needs help. And it's a daunting endeavor to take on to buy a home or a condominium, whatever, but it's a home at the end of the day. And so how do you, so you told me that earlier, and I'll share, that you said that you don't do anything but open houses. Is that accurate? Or do you want to rephrase?
Well, I mean, I think that's still my strongest suit.
So if you look back over the last, 2 or 3 years, where has the business come from besides referral, open house?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I'm very comfortable in front of people, and I look at my work at an open house of perhaps selling that open house, but really, hopefully, garnering new clients. But it's when they come in, it's really just a conversation.
Right.
It isn't me selling anything. It's a natural unfolding of a potential relationship. And there are those who you will blend with and those who you don't. Not everyone is right for everyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm not right for everyone, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I need it to be a very communicative, interactive, mutually beneficial process for my client and for myself. So it's really important that we establish that, what's expected, but not just that, how we relate. Are we enjoying each other's time? Because it's going to be a lot of time and a lot of very personal financial information and weekends that normally would be yours to go and look at properties. And that's something that if I'm invested in, and I want my clients to be equally as invested in it for their own well-being.
Yeah.
And that's part of the process, I think, of the open houses that has worked for me, is that I'm just having a conversation. I'm not that sales guy. You're not walking in and I'm not hawking over you or handing you my card or trying to get you to sign an agreement. I just feel like if it's natural, it should just be natural.
Right.
And let you have some time to decide if I'm the guy for you.
So do you think your background in the design has really helped in your sales, in your business, your real estate career?
100%. I think that we all know that everyone has a laundry list of what they like in a home. And the reality of getting that, unless you build from the ground up, is pretty slim. So a lot of the times talking through a process with somebody is part of the home buying decision. It's going into a property with them. And I have the background in architecture and design and contract work to know what you might need to do going in. I'm not an architect. I can't 100% guarantee by looking at a wall and tell you that can come out unless I'm crawling in the attic or looking at the foundation. But what I can do is I can help you to envision what might be possible or talk you through ways to reimagine a floor plan, restructure a room layout, add on to a property that might allow you more square footage or what you need. And that brings a wider spectrum of properties into your network of possibilities. We know right now that the biggest challenge facing buyers is inventory constriction. There's very little inventory compared to what there was several years ago.
Although I heard today there's 102 new listings on the hot shoot.
Which I would expect, because it's right after Labor Day.
Well, that's September. We'll get to September. I couldn't get a seat in the conference.
Well, that's your fall market, though. So and the spring and fall markets are busy, and everybody's having their holidays and such. So Labor Day is kind of that beginning.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good to see people back, to work and inventory coming on the market. It has been a little dearth. So tell me, that brings into my mind, this room full of young, new top agents inside. What would you tell a new agent getting started today that you know from your vast history as
I think that
experience?
yeah,
Second floor.
I think that the biggest thing I could tell a new agent is two things. First off, be authentic with yourself and with your clients. Authenticity translates into trust. And I do believe also lean into your strengths. Try and ask your friends, if you don't know what they are, what your strengths might be. Where do you fall? Also, like, what are your shortcomings? I'm not great on the phone. I'm not the guy who could cold call and be talking to people because it just feels distant and it's not me.
I know.
I'm better in person. So I think it's important to understand what your strengths are. If you're really great at, socializing, go and start to go to different community events, join clubs, you talk to people at the gym. So many of my clients have been from the dog park. Just simply walking my Frenchies and interacting with people, and they're, hey, you're an agent, right? We're thinking of buying something, or, we're thinking of selling and getting something different. And we're there just talking about our dogs. We're not there talking about business.
It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Disarming.
Yeah.
And it helps people to trust you more and want to work with you. Once they've certainly start to speak to you and learn all the experience you have, then of course it's a natural progression because people really feel confident in your ability to help them. So that's important.
I would also tell young agents to expect it to be a process. Like you said, it takes a while, and you have to be prepared mentally, financially, physically for what it takes. I mean, I work open houses still to this day, almost every weekend.
Oh, I was going to ask you that question. Yeah. So you're still working every week at an open house and, hosting your own listings and others? Do you host for others?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a collaboration. And so much of this business is a business of relationships. Even if I send a contract in and I've done a deal with someone, or I've done a deal with someone in their office that they know, there might be an indication of how I do business or how that process was for someone, and makes it maybe a little bit more appealing to do the deal with me than someone who they don't know or trust. And not that that necessarily has anything to do with the choice of who the seller accepts as the offer. But I just think that you cannot diminish the importance of the interpersonal relationships in all aspects of what real estate is. Your inspectors, your contractors, your designers, your appraisers. I mean, my best advice is show up well, show up in a way that you want to be remembered. Don't be negative or mean-spirited or diminish someone in their capacity to do their job. I've seen people who in this industry who take a sharper tack on things, and I just don't think, I think kindness goes a long way. I don't think being critical of people necessarily gets you a lot of respect.
Well, it's the old adage, you get more honey with honey than vinegar.
Absolutely.
In case anyone doesn't know that one. But share. It really is a true thing.
It is true here. And I think that it becomes really apparent when you are in a situation where you're negotiating and you're working with other agents after a couple of years, where they get to know you, they get to know what kind of business to expect from you. Right. And your clients too. My experience with someone is different every time, but the one thing that is consistent through all of those is that all of my clients say that they're well taken care of, they feel heard, they trust me, they are appreciative of my connections and how that might create opportunities for them.
Yeah, that's lovely. And I've always said, a reputation is really very, very important in this town. In this town, it's a small town. It's a big city, San Francisco, global, but it's very provincial as well, right? So, but your reputation, there's only, I think there's 6,000 realtors, 4,000 realtors in San Francisco. It goes between 6 and 4, it ebbs and flows as they start to, the down mark. We're only at 4,000 now. We were at 6,000 a few years ago. But 20% of the people sell all the real estate.
Yeah.
So what is that? 800 people.
Yeah.
So it's not that big, and you get known by your reputation, and you have a stellar reputation. I do know that. So that's great. Let's see. So It's interesting to me that you worked with all these celebrities. Of course, everyone loves to know a little bit more about that because peek in there.
Yeah,
I think it's fun. So I know I read in your bio that you worked with Robert Mondavi and then up in the wine country in Napa Valley. You worked with Oprah Winfrey. What's that like? I mean, it wasn't in real estate, just as you said.
Yeah, it was in antiques and fine art, and I was in the capacity of providing specific items for these people who were working with designers oftentimes, or when I was working as the designer with the company I was with, we were sourcing and doing that. I think that it's interesting because I am not enthralled by celebrity or even fascinated by it. I like my privacy and I like my life without the intrusion of being under a microscope.
Must be difficult for them.
It's incredibly difficult for them. And I think there's a compassion that comes in understanding that and that you can convey to them. But it's exciting too. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The first time I went to Oprah's house, I was very excited.
Yeah.
And I was, I thought, well, am I going to meet with her? Is it just going to be the designers, this and that? And it ended up being a process that was very friendly and business intimate that I felt was incredibly fulfilling because not only did she have a real appreciation for what items we brought to them and could bring to the table to enhance her home, where she spends her time, where she has her family. It was also really wonderful to see who she is. And she's completely the person you anticipate. She is grounded. She is soulful. She is spiritual. She is wise. And even all the years of success have not changed her in that regard. That's my experience with her. And that part was really lovely. And then to bring something to somebody that you look up to or admire and have them excited. It's like a birthday present every time you go down. Thank you, dining at the table. And that was really fun.
Yeah.
And actually learning from them. They are people, and the important factor for me was always to treat them with respect, but also not to get caught up in the celebrity. This is someone who just wants their house to be beautiful.
Right.
Of course. And so that part never really entered into the equation for me, even though it's always in the back of your head.
Well, yeah.
So
they have a different life than we do, and it's okay. I mean, we all have great lives, hopefully, and some. It's fun. It's just fun to hear a little bit about.
And it's nice to peek behind the curtain and see how that other portion of the population lives, and to learn from what they tell you in their experiences in life or in business or in anything. It's a different perspective. It's a different lifestyle. Yeah.
As we were saying earlier this morning about, it could take a bad turn for some of those folks, young people who are too much fame too quickly and all of that. So, but we're all famous in our own little minds, as I like to say. So, and we do what we do and we love what we do. I mean, I think there personally is no better job than what we do. I love what we do. And it sounds like you've really found your place that
I have. I love San Francisco. We just returned from a summer vacation, and I've been here since 1994. I still get excited when those wheels hit the tarmac and the runway. I love our city. I've always been passionate about it. People like to trash talk it or talk it down. Well, when you're the king of the hill, but oftentimes we have been in the economic times, like the .com explosion, everyone wants to knock you off the top.
right.
And San Francisco's had some bad press in the last couple of years. But I can tell you that I live in South Beach, which is downtown on the waterfront. And the reality is that it's vibrant. There's a lot happening. There's AI coming to the city. There's a lot of hiring. There's a lot of business opportunities that are opening up. There's other AI companies that are purchasing space and buying space. And just like any phoenix, San Francisco always rises better than it was the time before.
Yes.
And I feel like we are on the rise.
And since 1994, I'm sure you've seen a couple of markets come and go, as we have. And so we're on the rise. We're doing great. And San Francisco, I mean, you're right. You get a bad press, but we have so many wonderful little neighborhoods and so many, unique parts of the city that people don't even know about. So
So, and I think that, the longer you live here, I've traveled so many of the areas. I really feel like I know the city like the back of my hand, whether it's the little alleyways,
well, you sell real estate.
even more.
The name of every little alley and every little street.
Or every little coffee shop or that special place that just opened that has great donuts or
That's so fun.
yogurt,
We're out there all the time. We're out middle, like in it. We're immersed. Absolutely. Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, this has been great. Thank you. You mentioned earlier one of my favorite quotes by Maya Angelou, which was that it's not what people say that you remember, but how they make you feel. And so I want to thank you for saying that this morning, which made me feel very good by joining us here today. And I thank you for coming and sharing this with us. It's really been great.
I appreciate that. That's how I treat every client is I want them to leave feeling a certain way and feeling well taken care of and heard and well represented. And I appreciate the opportunity to share all that with you.
Well, that's the sign of a great realtor. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Paula.
All right. Thank you.